Good afternoon to you. Today we will continue with the Constitution class. As you know that we are taking amendment to the Constitution. This is the fourth part. In the Constitution amendment, this is the fourth part of Constitution. And we have seen the introduction and we have seen in which cases the amendments are not to be treated as amendment. Then we have seen the two methods, etc. Now today we are seeing the gray areas, in the sense one method, as you know, relates to the amendment of the provisions other than the federal features. For this type of amendments, the legislative proposal is required to be passed by both the houses of parliament by special majority and presented to the president, who shall give his assent. This is with regard to the provisions other than the federal provisions. For the second method, we have seen that such constitutional amendments which deal with federal provisions are required to be passed by both the houses of parliament by special majority, and then these legislative proposals are referred to the state legislatures for ratification. These proposals, that is these amendments which affect the federal provisions, should be approved, should be ratified by the state legislatures. At least half of the states, remember, at least half of the states should approve it by passing the resolution by simple majority. Ratification is by simple majority. Once the legislative proposal has been referred and ratified by the state legislatures, at least half of the state legislatures, then this will be presented to president, who shall give his assent. This we have seen. These are the two methods which are given in Article 368. The third one, which will not amount to penalty also, 11 or 12 items, we have already seen, that is as good as an ordinary law. These are all the two methods of constitutional amendments which are given in the article itself. This is number one. Now we will see what are the deficiencies or grey areas in the procedure given in Article 368 for amendment of the Constitution. Now kindly understand, kindly appreciate, let us not assume that we are more intelligent than Dr. Ambedkar or K.M. Munshi Saab or Alladi Krishna Iyer et al. No, not at all. Not there. At least I am not even 0.0001% equivalent to these constitutional experts. I am a student, you are a student. We should know with the open mind. Now we should analyze it. We should have a reasoned decision. We are also part of the nation. We are also citizens of India. We have every right to know what is correct and what is incorrect. So there is nothing wrong in understanding the merits and demerits of every amendment or every provisions of the Constitution. And with this open mind, we are seeing what are the deficiencies, what are the demerits, so that Constitution cannot remain static. Tomorrow it can be changed, tomorrow it can be amended. So at that time we can also make our contribution. We are the citizens of the country, we can make the contribution. For making contribution, we should know the background, we should know dispassionate view we should take. Now firstly, Constitution does not contemplate any time limit within which the state legislatures should ratify the amendments referred to them. I said the second category, that is which affect the what is known as the federal provisions. These proposals are referred to the state legislatures, and at least half of the state legislatures should ratify the amendments by simple majority, by approving the ratifying by simple majority. We have seen. Now what is the time limit? Within which time? Is it for, like USA, it is for 7 years, or is it for an indefinite period? So this gives you certain amount of uncertainty. A bill which, as suppose it is a National Judicial Appointment Commission, is a very landmark. All the parties came together and passed this, and it, of course, it has been ratified by the half of the states. Unfortunately, it was struck down by the Supreme Court. That is a different issue. My point is, when a issue which is very important has been referred to the state legislature and state legislatures have taken time to ratify it, there is an element of uncertainty and we are anxious, we are eager. Why this was not? So such a uncertainty should not be allowed to be corrupting the constitution. That is one point you should remember. Secondly, the details of provisions which require ratification by the state legislatures have not been made clear in the article. See, in the article simply they give the article number or the caption. But within that article there are many items which may require ratification. For example, I will tell you, there is a mention the composition of parliament or representation of states in parliament. This requires ratification by the state legislatures. But the individual instances have not been identified. Within these articles, there are certain individual instances that have not been clarified. But this issue cropped up when the 61st Amendment Act 1988, which was reducing the voting age from 21 years to 18 years, Article 326. This cropped up whether this should be referred to the state legislature for ratification or not. Subsequently, it was referred to the state legislatures, and the amendment was ratified by the more than half of the states. So it has become law. My point is, it is not clear. Similarly, the bill in respect of 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985, which is, as you know, we have taken also, which is popularly known as anti-defection law. This was not ratified by the state legislatures. In Kihato case, Holohan case, Supreme Court upheld the validity of 10th schedule. Validity of 10th schedule was upheld, but declared Section 7 invalid for want of ratification by the state legislatures because the law against defection affects the state also. On two grounds they questioned. One is judicial review is a basic structure. To put the speaker the decision beyond judicial review is not correct. That is one of the decisions. Secondly, there is no ratification by the state legislature because the defection, we are saying both 10th schedule covers both state legislatures as well as union parliament. So this being the case, this should have been ratified by the state. That is the opinion of the Supreme Court. That is why the Section 7 has been struck down by the Supreme Court. So that because of the lack of clarity, this has happened. So this provision requires clarification. Thirdly, it is not clear what would happen if either House of Parliament rejects the Constitutional Amendment Bill. Suppose the Constitutional Amendment Bill has been passed by Lok Sabha but rejected by Rajya Sabha, or passed by Rajya Sabha, rejected by Lok Sabha, then what will happen? There is no provision for a joint session. There is no provision for joint session to resolve the dispute over the Constitutional Amendment Bill. For example, I will give an example. Constitution 64th and 65th Amendment Bill, 1989, Rajiv Gandhi period, regarding Panchayat Raj and municipalities. This has been passed by Lok Sabha by overwhelming majority, and it was rejected by Rajya Sabha, at least to my memory, it is by 4 votes. Just imagine, 400 members of parliament support a bill, and so 400 multiplied by 1 million, 10 lakh. So around 4 crore people, 40 crore people support, and the other people, only one Rajya Sabha MP, 4 Rajya Sabha MPs have not voted, and the bill defeated. This is one position. Similarly, 24th Amendment Act 1970 regarding abolition of privy purses. This was also passed by Lok Sabha but rejected by Rajya Sabha with 1 vote. You know what is privy purses? Privy purses, nothing. It is a sort of pension to the former rulers. As you know, this Constitutional Amendment Bill to abolish privy purses was passed by Lok Sabha but defeated in Rajya Sabha on 5th September 1970. At the midnight of 5th September, President V.V. Giri withdrew the recognition of all rulers under Article 366, thus reneging on the constitutional promises that have been included, that has been committed by Sardar Patel to the princess. This move was challenged in the Supreme Court, and in which, including many rulers, because the party politics is many of the rulers have joined the Swatantra Party. So that was one of the reasons, one of the apparent, ostensible reasons. So is that they have joined the Swatantra Party, they were all against the government. So the government thought, in its wisdom, because there is we want to establish egalitarian society, so there is no need to give pension. That is why all these things cropped up, and this move was challenged in the Supreme Court by all the ex-rulers, including Madhavrao Scindia, who later joined Congress. The Supreme Court held the derecognition of princes as unconstitutional. Hardly 10 days, 9 days or 10 days, Mrs. Indira Gandhi called for fresh elections, and she returned to power with a thumping majority, 350 seats, 351 or 50 seats in Lok Sabha. At that stage, she brought out 26th constitutional amendment in Act 1971, formally abolishing privy purses. So, incongruous, that is Lok Sabha with the representative of the people pass, and Rajya Sabha the indirectly elected members reject. I am not saying Rajya Sabha is not effective. I am saying this is the position. The people have to give thought to this. Secondly, the states have no role in formulating the constitutional amendment proposals. They come into the picture only in ratification. The state legislatures cannot initiate any amendment even in respect of their own council. They can pass a resolution recommending constitution of the legislative council in their state. Beyond that, they cannot move any constitutional amendment. Only private member can move through Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. That's a different issue. There is no proposal, there is no provision in the constitution to move a constitutional amendment proposal by the state legislature. They can only pass a resolution proposing the requirement of legislative council. This is another point you should remember. Thirdly, the state's individuality has not been preserved. The state's individuality has not been preserved. Even their own name, boundary, territory can be changed without their consent. Yesterday I told you in elaborate manner, I told you the only requirement is President has to recommend. But before recommending, President will refer this to the state legislature and ask their views, quote, views. And after getting the views, President will definitely recommend, because President's recommend means he recommends whatever he does only on the advice of the Council of Ministers. So that being the case, he will recommend and the law will be passed. So the state's individuality has not at all been preserved. Even their own name, their own boundary, their own territory can be changed without their consent. And another point, Constitution is not clear whether the states, once given their ratification, can withdraw their consent at a later stage. It is not clear. They will all. Mr. Devilal raised this issue against anti-defect. Haryana is one state which gave approval, which gave ratification. He said, we want to withdraw. It is not possible. In fact, if the state has passed a resolution opposing the amendment bill, it has the liberty to change the stand immediately after that. Once it has opposed, subsequently, it can withdraw its opposition and ratify it. On the other hand, remember, a state legislature which has passed a resolution ratifying the proposal cannot withdraw its consent. In other words, no can be converted into yes, but yes cannot be converted into no. And another most important is, we say only half of the states. The moment half of the states have approved, rest of the states have no role at all. See, what is this? At least they should also be, their opinion should also be taken. Suppose there are 28 states, 14 states have approved. Then 15th state, 15, 16, 17, up to 28 states, they are dumb and deaf.
You should give opportunity to them at least to express their views. We are not expected to wait at all. The moment 14 states approved, the moment half of the states are approved, it will be presented to president, it will become the law of the land. That is the another thing. See, unlike in USA, there are no constitutional convention, there are no seminars, there is no deliberations. You can never imagine in USA that a constitutional amendment bill has been passed in one day, whereas in India it happened at least 2 or 3 times. In one day, morning introduction, evening morning Lok Sabha, evening Rajya Sabha, midnight president approval. It is possible only in India. That is, in USA, there is a constitutional convention, there is a seminar, there is a public debate. In many cases in India, without apparent forethought, amendments can be introduced and it has been passed also. This is proved. I am not exaggerating. This is proved for the fact in 70 years, Constitution has been amended more than 104 times. More than 104 times. Many other amendments made through 42nd Amendment Act 1976 have been struck down by the Supreme Court, have been repealed by 44th Amendment Act 1978. So what does it indicate? We have not given proper thought to the constitutional amendment. There is no public debate. There is no involvement of the people. It is not put in the public domain. Before a constitutional amendment is proposed, you should elicit the views of the people. I understand there are certain constitutional amendments which require immediate action. So maybe there is political or repercussion will be there. That is an exception. I am not saying that is bad. That is very necessary. But generally, before attempting constitutional amendment, there should be a detailed discussion in the public domain. So these are all the grey areas which are found in the process of constitutional amendment. With this, we will end the class today. We will examine the basic structure theory and how the basic structure theory came into being. What is the importance of basic structure? Then why this, after all, if you go on adding basic structure, then what is the end of it? Whether the parliament cannot amend any of the provisions which are included in the basic theory. Now, if the parliament wants, what is the way out? What is the way out? These items we will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much. Thank you.